Welcome to today's 3-minute Halacha. The three Shabbat meals should not be eaten all at once, but rather need to be divided over the 3 times of Shabbat, typically Friday night, Shabbat morning, and Shabbat afternoon. In fact, Alichot Shlomo notes that if someone were to have 2 Shabbat meals at night, for example, nowadays when Shabbat is very early, to eat one meal at the beginning of Shabbat and then have another midnight meal, and only one during the daytime, that you would not fulfill your requirement of the 3. The Mishnah Berurah adds in the name of the Bach that the second meal ideally should be eaten Shabbat morning before Chatzot. In other words, one at night, one in the morning before midday, and the third after midday. The Aruch HaShulchan explains the reason behind this in Siman Reish Pechet, Seif Bet, that each of the 3 meals are based on the fact that the Pasuk uses the word today 3 times. And therefore, each has to have its own unique time in the day, night, morning, and afternoon. However, at the very same time, the Aruch HaShulchan concludes, Aval Tamahini, Lama lo iskir echad min haposkim davar zeh, v'gam harbe lo yachoshu lezeh. That despite his logic, he hasn't found the source for it in earlier authorities, and many people don't follow this approach. And in fact, for many of us, the second Shabbat meal is often eaten after Chatzot, in the afternoon when we come home from shul. Regarding the third meal on Shabbat, the majority opinion is that it must be eaten in the afternoon. The Bahag, however, does note that it could theoretically take place in the morning, that you would have one meal at night, one meal early morning, and one meal later in the morning, and fulfill your obligation of the 3 meals. However, the Tur Shulchan Aruch and Siman Reish Tzadei Aleph disagrees and said that you shouldn't be splitting this into 2 parts, but rather, again, evening, morning, and afternoon. Ideally, the time to have Sudah Shlishit is after Mincha. Despite that, Rabbeinu Tam in Psachim and Kuf Hey Amud Aleph writes that one should not be eating anything between Mincha and Marav on Shabbat. The Ramah, however, rules in Reish Tzadei Aleph Sif Bet, like many of the Rishonim, that Sudah Shlishit, the third meal, should specifically take place after Mincha and before Marav. The accepted custom is to first daven Mincha whenever possible and then eat the Sudah Shlishit. However, one has to be very, very careful to begin eating before sunset. For while there are opinions that would allow still to start that meal after the sunset, you enter into all sorts of other halachic questions. And the Shmirat Shabbat Gilchata says, don't take those risks. That's in Siman Nun Vav, Seif Dalid. And so in summary, the 3 Shabbat meals ideally are in the evening, in the morning before Chatzot, or soon after Chatzot, and then after the time of Mincha.